All right, we're here for the Portland Open Press Conference 2021. Paige Pierce with us. Paige, I saw you just got off the course a little bit ago. Just want to get your first impressions.
Yeah, I've gotten to play 2 rounds now, and the course is long. You know, it's going to be demanding on us physically, ripping lots of shots, kind of like Stockton, but a lot more elevation, and really, really beautiful piece of property.
Does it still feel like Portland golf? Obviously, we don't have the Fling this year. The venue moved from Blue Lake to here, and I know Oregon golf is held in such high regard. Would you still kind of give it that stamp of approval?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't believe that we're able to play on this property. It feels so epic being here amongst all these trees and these rolling golf hills. And yeah, the views of Mount Hood, they're all still there. So I think it's almost a little bit more challenging in the aspect of the elevation. Beaver State Fling does have a few holes that have elevation, but you know, and then the Portland Open playing at Blue Lake, there's not much of any elevation. So it's really awesome that the Pro Tour was able to keep this event happening and switch venues so late and to still have this event. So I'm very thankful to be here.
You've been on a roll lately. You've won a national tour, a pro tour, a major, all in May, all in Northern California, and all kind of since taking the week off. You came back just swinging. What message are you trying to send right now?
Yeah, I think just hopefully that everyone stops judging me for decisions that I make. You know, we make our own schedules, and I'm taking care of what my body and my priorities, what I think that is best for me. So hopefully this kind of tells people like, hey, stop judging. You know, everyone has different needs, and I'm taking care of mine and back out here swinging.
Hi, Paige. Chris with Gatekeeper. I have 2 questions for you. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Turned 30, I believe, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So that marks another 10 years before you hit 40 in Masters Division. What's like a 10-year goal for you for these next 10 years?
Oh, man. Yeah, try to get as many titles as I can. Try to keep my body healthy so that I'm able to still throw the disc as well as Juliana can at 50 years old. So I think it's very telling after playing with her and seeing, you know, on a hole, I don't remember what hole it is, the hole before gravity at De La. It's just a long bomber shot towards the down tree. Juliana was throwing farther than Haley King, and you know, that just kind of tells me that you can still do it when you are of master's age. You just got to take care of yourself. So I think the primary goal is to take those breaks when I need them, listen to my body as it's telling me something's sore, and yeah, continue to play this game that I love so much for many, many more years to come.
Awesome. And lastly, I'm looking at your Indiegogo right now. You're at $57,000 of your goal of $75,000.
Yep.
Still 21 days to go, so things are looking good. How's that coming along? I know you put out a new trailer and everything.
It's awesome. I haven't checked it in the last 2 days, but I checked it earlier this morning, and seeing that I think it's like 74% of our goal is what that equates to, and it's awesome. I'm so appreciative, and I don't even know that I can really find the words to express how much this means to me, but hopefully those people, when they see the movie come out and they see it on these major platforms, they're going to feel proud that they helped make this happen. And, you know, for the people that haven't donated yet, maybe you're on the fence, I'm actually going to do a YouTube live on Sunday morning before my round. I'm not sure of the time yet. I think tee times are going to be around 4 o'clock every day. So probably going to go live around 11 a.m. Pacific time on Sunday to answer questions and kind of like, you know, give you guys some more info on what's going on with that. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Paige. Good luck this weekend. All right. Thanks for the time as always. All right, now back with defending champion of the Portland Open, Drew Gibson. First of all, heard you're dealing with a little bit of an injury. Just wanted to kind of check in on you. How you doing?
Hopefully I can play, but I think as of now it's going to be a no-go. Seth told me yesterday not to play. It's not feeling that much better today, so kind of gonna, after this, Seth's going to check it out and kind of give me a final yes or no, but it's fine to, like, what he calls ADL, everyday living. I'm okay, but, like, trying to twist and do certain things, I just think that it's not ready yet. I only heard it yesterday.
Is that that's a lower body injury?
Yeah, it's my ankle. Like, I threw on hole 7's tee pad, and my foot stayed like this, and my rest of my body went that way. So my whole foot just, like, never released off the tee pad.
Gotcha. Well, we'll hope, it kind of defeats the next question about, defending champ 2 years later, another course. Kind of what was your mindset going into this event? Did you tackle it any differently than any other events this year? I mean, you just came off a great performance last week.
Oh, I mean, it's 2 years later. The course is different. I think that the title, that's like telling Adam, hey, you won Masters Cup, now we're going to change the course. You're defending champion. It's like, I won over there. I didn't win here. So it's like, maybe I have the title and I'm reigning, but like, I don't think it's the same thing. I think when you win the Masters, you play the next year at the Masters and you defend your title. I don't think changing the venue and all that, So, that's part of the reason I'm willing to skip this event. If this was at Blue Lake, I'd do everything I possibly could to be out there trying to defend that. But, we changed everything and changed it for the better. Otherwise it wasn't going to happen. So I'm not saying it in a bad way, but for me, I beat everybody and won at that course, not here, So I don't have like a sentimental touch to this. I was just going to come out and try to play my best, and if that was first through 100th, then cool, but I was just going to try to play my best golf.
How much did Worlds being so soon factor into this decision as well?
That's like 90% of the decision. Like, I think that if this was Memorial, I could probably play through this and limp to 10th place. Like, I don't think if I played this week I would, get last place or not finish the tournament, but I think that if this creates a longer recovery and I only have 2.5 weeks to the World Championship, that it's not something that I'd rather have a chance at winning the World Championship or having a good finish there than getting 10th place here. Because frankly, the way my leg feels, I don't think I have a chance to win. I don't think I'll be able to play good enough for 3 rounds with this, whether it's ailing me or in my head to be. Everyone's so good now. I don't think I'm going to be able to play with an injury. I don't win every tournament anyways. So you want me to come out here and play a 12,000-foot course with an injury and want me to play my best golf? It's just not going to happen.
Last question for me, kind of on that topic. You did finish really well at the Masters Cup, made the lead card final round. Your game's really been coming together. 7th on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. What's been the biggest catalyst for you, the biggest thing that's clicked throughout this year as we're at the halfway point?
Well, I just think my putting, like just having, just stepping up to every time I put my putter in my hand and knowing I have a chance to make it. So before I was just like literally praying I hit the basket and like I didn't roll away. Now I think that if I have my green putter in my hand, I'm going to make it in the hole. It makes throwing easier. I'm known as one of the better throwers, but like I was always a better thrower because I had to throw it good or else I wouldn't score. So now the fact that I can kind of just rip it down the fairway, and know I might make a 45-footer through some trees, makes it easier for me to compete well, I feel like, because it takes pressure off the other parts of my game. I don't have to throw every upshot to 10 feet. I don't have to throw every drive to 10 feet. I can kind of just play the course and, maybe I sneak in 4 or 5 jump putts that round, which were putts I never really made before. So I think that that's kind of the difference in this last 6 months versus the rest of my career.
Hey Drew, Chris with Gatekeeper. To go a little bit more off the putting, you did switch up putters this year, if I believe, and you are throwing the Penrose from EV7. Could you go a little bit into that kind of partnership you have and switching that putter?
Yeah, Phil contacted me pretty much saying like, hey, like I'd be interested in your help, in promoting this, as I'm the only player that's open bag that even can really promote something like that. And I told him, I said, hey, I already struggle on the green. Like if I get this thing in the mail and I think it makes me miss 1 more putt per 100, I'm not doing it. Like I can't lose any more strokes on the green. And I putted with it for 3 or 4 days and called Phil and said, whatever you could pay me nothing and I'll use this putter. Like we could not come to a deal and I'm going to use this during the year. Like I just felt it improved my game. Working with Phil is one of the easier partnerships I've ever had in the sport. Everything we do from collaborations to getting paid on time happens. It was a very easy switch for me being, but I told him, hey, if I don't like this thing, I don't even want to consider it because I can't lose any more strokes there. And it becoming, one of my most used tools in the bag now, and also me enjoying the partnership, really made it like easier for me to make that full switch and sign the 3-year contract to, agree to do it, because I think that putter, like I said, EV7 could theoretically be gone tomorrow and I would still use the putter no matter what.
Awesome. That's cool to hear. Lastly, other than Waco, you've finished in the top 15 every event this year. A lot of top 10s, a win, a lot of top 5s as well. Aside from Jamie asking what's feeling good, is there any opportunity you have that you want to button up before Worlds? You said your putting's doing good.
I still haven't thrown a sidearm the entire year. So I've got wins, top 5s, top 10s, top 15s, and I haven't thrown one sidearm. So that doesn't go over. When you only throw the disc with one spin, I think it's a testament to how good my backhand really is. And I don't mean that in any way other than just the truth. I think that being able to play backhand only and get those finishes you talked about is pretty incredible. My sidearm was never like the biggest part of my game, but at Jonesboro I threw one, didn't work out, but I had probably 20 upshots throughout the weekend where I could have thrown a sidearm and saved myself strokes. And obviously I didn't not get up and down every time, but there was probably 5 or 6 times where a little chip sidearm would have saved me. And at these events I'm only losing by 3, 4, 5 strokes. So when you start talking about possibly saving 6 strokes in one tournament, that goes from great job 5th place to possibly winning the tournament. So that's something I need to get back in my game. But as of now, I'm playing well. I'm just trying to focus on the good things and just keep that part of my game rolling.
Awesome. Thank you. And hopefully you get a quick recovery.
Yeah, thank you.
Mahmoud, anything for Drew?
Drew, I just want to quickly take a trip down memory lane. Looking at that tournament back in 2019, can you walk us through that roller coaster of Eagle missing the short putt, you guys going to the playoff, and then you having that short 10, 15 footer that you can for the win? That must have been a really nerve-wracking moment for you.
Yeah, I think that the thing that most people forget when they bring up this story is that I also missed a 12-foot putt on hole 16. The short putt Eagle missed. If I would have made the putt on 16, the putt Eagle missed wouldn't have even, been as big of a deal. And yes, he missed it. And then to make the putt, from 20 feet or whatever to win was pretty amazing for me after missing the 12-foot birdie putt on hole 16. But I think overall, we all played. Eagle and I battled. We didn't even really know the scores. Neither of us did. And we finished the round and looked and goes, oh man, Simon has to birdie out just to tie us. So it kind of became this thing where it was it might be a 2-horse race, and thankfully, I ended up winning in the playoff. But I think that that was kind of another thing that kind of pushed my putting to the next level, was knowing I wasn't per se the greatest putter, but being able to go out there and win for 3 rounds after having food poisoning the first round.
Yeah, can you dive into that putt a little bit more? Because I remember, last year, I think Jeff came up to you and said, I thought you were gonna miss that putt, and you said back to him, joking, yeah, I thought I was gonna miss it too.
Until this year, my putt had never been I never lined up for a 25-footer and someone was pick it up. When we watched Ricky putt from 25 feet, I would rather just pick his disc up than watch him make the 30th one in a row. No one's ever felt that way about me. So, of course, having a 20-footer for the biggest win of my career wasn't an easy putt, but I don't honestly really know what else to say about it other than I made it.
Awesome. Thanks, Drew. Good luck this week. Or, I guess, good luck recovering.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Drew. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
right, back here with tour director and CEO Jeff Spring. Big movement this year from a very revered course in Blue Lake to a newcomer on tour, Glendevere. Just wanted to give you a chance to kind of talk about the process behind that and some of the advantages that you found.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it was not our choice. You know, we want to be at Blue Lake. We wanted to be there. That's where we were in 2019. That course was the impetus for founding this event in 2019. You know, one of the transformative moments in my disc golf career was at the 2014 World Championship there. I was there. I saw the 3,000, 4,000 plus people that were out, and I saw Paul and Ricky, you know, making magic in that playoff, and said, this course, you know, is incredible. This city is incredible. The disc golf scene here is incredible. So when I got an opportunity to kind of found and run an event here with all the great people of Portland disc golf, like Dustin and Zoe, Brian Cole, Stumptown, all the folks that help Stumptown and make it go, I said, yeah, awesome. Let's go to Blue Lake. Blue Lake deserves a yearly event. So I can't really speak more highly of that course. It's awesome. So coming here is also awesome, but it was out of necessity, and I think that's something that I hope everybody understands. It was 6 weeks ago that we had to make the final call because Metro Parks said we can't confirm your reservation still after weeks and weeks of bugging them saying, hey, can you confirm this? Are we good to go? But the COVID restrictions on their staff and their operation just was going to extend to July, and I couldn't get any movement. I even took it up the chain, went to the Metro Parks, council, or tried to do everything we could. But we love Metro Parks. We understand where they're coming from. We had a couple of backup venues, and this was the one that gave us the opportunity. And yeah, I'll leave it there, but happy to talk more about this great venue as well.
Yeah, what you said, you had a couple candidates that you chose this one out of. What are some of the criteria that you really focus on when you have to make these moves, and what was it about Glendevere that won you over?
Yeah, so first of all, we need the basics to run the event, enough room for parking. We need, the media list of enough room for media operations, signal for live, ideally. We need a room for spectators as well. We will have some spectators here. And the list, continues to go on. The way we're evolving, we want player-only parking and player amenities, and really thinking about the pro player experience. The other option was Rose City Disc Golf course, which is also on a golf property. And there is a golf course there. They had some conflicts that weren't really movable. We were trying to work around them. There weren't any conflicts here, so we came here. There are some existing courses in Portland that we looked at. They're all kind of like a little bit less for elite play. I think that there were some decent options, but they were also owned and operated in a lot of cases by the city. So most of the city courses, the city wasn't really saying, hey, we're going to let you reserve this and operate an event here. So we really canvassed everywhere, and this ended up being a great option, but really our option. And so from there, we just tried to activate the event site in a very short window. I mean, from making the decision 6 weeks to confirming 5 weeks, getting Dustin on board, and he designed it a month ago in a short span of time. It's been an amazing, incredible lift to get to this point. So.
Hey Jeff, Chris with Gatekeeper Media. Couple questions. First
Yeah.
off, how does it feel to have spectators back? Things are opening up, and we keep seeing more and more. Had them at De La, had them at OTB. How's that feel to you as the tour director?
It's fantastic. It seems like a new age of spectating. When we've come back in, we've thought about the future of spectating, and all of our Disc Golf Pro Tour events will have a unified ticketing system going forward, where everybody can go on dgpt.com. They'll all have tickets. We find that that's the best way to show the value, and they're all selling out. And we don't want it to be a burdensome fee at all. We want crowds to come out, but at the same time, it's a great way to communicate with spectators beforehand, track them, know how many people are going to come on site, plan spectator areas, plan crowd control. And so that's a big takeaway. It feels great to have them back, but now we have infrastructure and planning in place to not just say, like, ooh, let's see who shows up, you know. And I think that that's a big win and something that we're going to stick with as we come fully out of COVID.
Awesome. One more question. As the sport grows, the Pro Tour grows, and everything's growing, could you go into the conflicts and kind of the balancing of the infrastructure and having the right venues, but also providing courses that the pros are happy about and want to continue to play?
Yeah.
Just go in a little bit into that balance that I'm sure is very tough.
Yeah, well, what I'll say is that, you know, this event is unique in the short time frame, but it definitely falls into the realm of your question in that, you know, we're on a golf course, and we know that there's a wide array of opinions on tracks that we play, and we can't please everybody. However, going forward, when we look at the pro game, it is pretty unified on the touring professional level that they'd like to see purses grow. You know, they're the object of fans' attention, and they provide a lot of eyes for the sport. A lot more media is coming out to cover them, and we want to grow purses for the players. So they're competing for more, so more touring players can stay on tour, so that those payouts go deeper and are more meaningful. So when I think about it that way, it means more spectators, because we've definitely seen not only the impact of the feel and the vibe and the excitement, but also the impact of having gate revenue. So gate revenue is allowing us to grow the purses. Our minimum this year for out of cash is $15,000. Every event has done 20 to 25 to 30 to 33,000 in the case of Vegas added cash. And in some cases, that's solely due to like having spectators on site and having that gate. So getting back to your question, we need facilities that can have a lot of people on site, you know, that can have enough room for media crews to come and film the players, to have professional facilities where players aren't getting mobbed in the parking lot, where we can set up autograph lines, separate the players for a professional experience from the parking lot to the practice range to the course, back to their car and out of here. We want them to have that space to be professionals. We also want the space for the spectators. So when you look at it that way, the course is a central element. We need to focus on course design. We're going to be collaborative with the players like Dustin on figuring out what course design works and what the future of course design evolves into. But at the same time, the venue requirements are definitely evolving as well. So it's going to be a push and pull. I think hopefully, you know, I can help bring everybody together, collaborate, find the middle ground on the venue development, but also on keeping historic courses, keeping those great designs that we love. We don't want to get away from like what disc golf is. You know, I'm from Vermont. I grew up with woods golf and playing tight lines, and I love to see it. And you can see, you know, it's a topic of discussion. It affects the players who are at the top of the leaderboard. And I think we're just going to see a wide variety through the years, but I don't think we're ever going to get away from a lot of those traditional courses and the traditional designs of being included on tour. We'll work extra hard to make sure that some venues that are traditional and that, you know, people know and love stay on tour.
Sweet. Thanks for your time. I appreciate that.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, back with Dustin Keegan. Dustin, I know you put a lot of work into making this event get to where it is right now, so I just kind of wanted to generally ask you, how did this all come about from your perspective?
Yeah, this is amazing, really, to have it be here and have us save the Portland Open and save the tour in Oregon. You know, that was a big passion. Losing to the Beaver State and potentially losing Blue Lake was like, no, we have to, like, the disc golf needs to be here in this city of Portland in the state of Oregon. So Jeff just called on me, and I kind of, right before I left for Goat Hill a month ago, I had designed it here for about 2 full days, but like 8-9 hours per day. So I had about 23 hours total on the course, designing it in and out of ball golfers. And then when the Pro Tour showed up last week, they've tweaked a couple things, changed a couple, and we've created a real nice gem of a course.
From your design perspective, you know, what did you kind of see first when you assessed this property? You know, there's 36 golf holes out there, so there's a whole lot of space. How did you kind of shrink it down and really focus in?
Yeah, so it was really the most of the effort and thought went in, like, where to start and where to finish. And once I kind of solidified those 2 spots, then it was just kind of fit in the flow and see how to take the back 9 and cross it over to the front 9, which are separated by a driving range. So, like, how to cross the 2 areas without backups and flow changes. So and once I kind of get the flow in my brain, then I just go out there in person and be like, what is the most challenging or fair, fun shot for a top-level professional? So just kind of create them as I go and, like, constantly tweak. You know, my first layout, I just get it in my brain, and I go do some Google Earthing and, like, pan it out and see spatially if they fit, and then just kind of work from there. But I just really, you know, I have the skills to throw the shots, and I know how the top players play, so it's really about just putting yourself in their shoes and what's going to challenge them to build a tour level ready course.
Sure, and last question for me is just kind of take me through your design notes of the course if you were caddying for somebody and they wanted you to break down the challenge or maybe your favorite hole or something like that. Sell it to us.
All right. Get your drivers out. First and foremost, it's distance shots for sure. It's a long course. However, it's more accuracy. So you can't just, like, be on the one. You can't just rip it and then think you can get up and down from everywhere. So, like, you have to be on the right sides of the fairways. You know, play it like you would a golf course. And that's kind of, I'm a golfer, and so, like, that's how I design disc golf. And get your drivers accurate up shots because the greens are challenging. The greens are tight. There's OB everywhere around most of the greens. Slopes potentially. I utilized some of the elevation, so, like, you're kind of, couple holes you're playing cross diagonal, which, like, gives some gravitational pull to the shot, and then, like, a couple just full sends down the hills. So, like, just utilizing the landscape properly equals angle control, speed control, distance control. And if you can have the top players in the world control their game and not just rip it and deal with it, or, like, driver, putter, like, you got to go driver, fairway driver. You got to. The goal was to use every disc in your bag, and I think I've done well doing that.
Awesome. Hey, Dustin, Chris with Gatekeeper. I have a couple questions. First off, what's the mindset like competing on an elite level on a course you designed? That has to be interesting for you.
I've never done it before, so this is amazing. It's like I have such a visual memory, and to be, like, thinking about this property for the last month, ever since I got, like, kind of my hours in design down, I've just been thinking, how are the pros going to play it? Are they going to break my holes? Are they going to find new routes that I didn't think about? And, like, literally all the little things. So, like, as I play, I'm like, oh, should I have moved it over here? Should I moved it over here? I'm not really, like, thinking like a normal player out here because, like, it was all, like, my concept. So as that, I'll see how I do. I'm proud of the course. I'm proud of the design and happy that I've gotten a lot of good feedback from my friends and players out here. So we'll see how it goes round one. I've never been in this experience before. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely rooting for you. A couple more. How important is it to have top-level pros like yourself dabbling in course design while still in a competing level in the pro field? Do you think there should be more of that and something that we should embrace?
Personally, I think it's very beneficial to have the insight of players who can throw world-class shots. The people that are winning, the people that are always there, they know what challenges them, and so to make courses that people don't just shoot 15 down on, like these guys are good. These guys are really, really good at disc golf, and so you have to challenge them, you have to make them think, and I think it helps if you're a player and are there and are traveling the country and playing the best courses that the tour events are on.
Cool. And last one, being sponsored by Discmania, you are very hand-in-hand with Disc Golf Park, and I know that you've done some training out in my neck of the woods with Steve Bro. What is that process like as a brand, and could you just go into the Disc Golf Park and kind of their mission statement?
Yeah, it's been really cool. Steve kind of showed me the way last summer. I was out in PA for about 4 months, and we installed 4 different courses. One of them was just like cut out of the woods, like blank slate, which is totally different. And then we had a couple where I kind of coin a plug and play. Is like out here you can put a basket anywhere you want, but you have to use the best of your abilities to make things challenging. So yeah, just being involved with Disc Golf Park and course design has always been a passion of mine, and I've been designing courses for a long time, running like one-day temporary events or whatever. I've had, through our nonprofit UPlay, we design school courses and little like short fun courses, but to get one right on the tour level and a world class, like that's like a big deal. It's a big deal. It's no joke. There's not a lot of like world class tour designing people out there, so to have the faith of the Pro Tour and like being dialed in is pretty awesome.
I'm sure we'll see more in the future.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Hopefully.
All right, we're going to throw it to Mahmood if you have any questions.
Dustin, just one quick one. What's your reaction when you see comments online about people saying, like, man, we wish we were at disc golf courses instead of ball golf courses. We're not super into ball golf courses. Like, what's your reaction to that as someone who's just designed a course now on a ball golf course?
Yeah, good question. Disc golf is amazing, and the reason we all fell in love with it was because we played in the woods, and we got to watch our discs fly through the trees and stuff, but that's like hard to view on camera. 1, it's hard to host. 2, there's not space for people. So like as a disc golfer, being real in the moment of where we are as a sport and who we're trying to show our sport to, I think we need to move to venues that can host people. It's not necessarily about the shots anymore for us, and we need to understand that. It's about growing our sport and exposing it to the people and the masses how amazing disc golf is. There is always going to be the wooded courses, but as a tour player, we want the best show, we want the best viewership, and it's just hard to capture how hard disc golf is in the woods, where it's just, I don't know, if as a viewer, when I watch the Disc Golf Network, it's awesome when I can see the shots and the angles and the flight, whereas in the woods, if you hit first available, it just kicks over, like you never really know. Like, so I support disc golf on ball golf courses for sure, but it doesn't change my love for the woods and short courses. You know, it's just not tour ready.
For sure. All right, cool. DK, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks,
your time.
Mo.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Dustin. Good luck.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dustin.
All right, back with Catrina Allen here at the press conference for the Portland Open. I just kind of want to read some stats I was looking up earlier and just see how they hit you. You've had 11 starts this season, 10 top fives, 8 podium finishes, a Silver Series and a Pro Tour win, and you're leading the Disc Golf Pro Tour points right now at just about the halfway mark. How does that make you feel about the season so far?
Not too shabby. I'd like to see a few more wins, but I feel like working on some things, and each week I feel like some things get stronger, and I notice some places I need to work on, so pretty good, yeah.
I mean, I know you're somebody who's a firm believer in the practice routine and you know, kind of doing it. There's just not a whole lot of room. I mean, you're second in Pro Tour standings last year, but you're still finding ways to improve. What's the secret sauce that everybody else would love some of?
Just hard work and discipline. I think discipline really is the word. You know, whether it's a first place finish or, you know, my worst finish of the season, getting back on track, you know, not steering away from my diet or my exercise or my practice routines or, you know, changing my game or anything like that. Just trying to improve, and yeah, discipline is really just what keeps coming to mind.
Well, on that note, and it may be the same answer, but this season has been, it's grueling. I mean, I think you and many others have played as many events so far as you did all of last year. So has that tested the discipline, having to really do this turnaround, win an event, play an event, turn around, do the next one?
No, and I started playing disc golf where I played, you know, 40 events a year. So, and the fact that they're, you know, big tournaments ran so smoothly, and I'm not playing, you know, 2 rounds in one day every weekend like we used to, you know, earlier years. So, yeah, I mean, it was weird after enjoying half the summer because of COVID last year, but I'm ready to grind for sure.
All right, last question for me. What's the latest ribeye recipe?
Actually, last night we had ribeyes and snow crab, and melted some Kerrygold butter and just had ribeyes, dipped our ribeyes and our crab in the butter, and it was absolutely incredible. Yes.
Hi, Kat. Chris with
Hi.
Gatekeeper. One quick one. 2014 was World Champion year. The clock has started. We're in June. It's right around the corner. What's that recipe looking like to be able to bring home the second one?
Discipline and short memory and blinders, focusing on myself, my game, nothing else, not, you know, anything going on in the media, not what someone else is doing with their game, but just, you know, who was it? Maybe Ernie Els, someone who talks about looking down at your feet, because this is where you are and that's the only thing you can focus on, and just really not trying to get ahead of myself. You know, it's going to be an exciting time, an exciting week. I love that it's 5 rounds, and I love playing at elevation. Been going to the Utah Open for years. Me and Jamie played together at the Utah Open 1 year, and yeah, just try to stay in the moment and enjoy the process for sure.
Awesome. One other one, actually. You love to throw rollers. How many rollers are you throwing out here? Because I've been seeing a lot.
Right. You know, it'll just depend on if the risk-reward is worth it. Some of the places where it's kind of beneficial, there seems to be some OB on the right, but definitely finishing with the roller, for sure.
Awesome. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to throw it to Mahmood for any questions.
Hey, Kat. Sorry, it wasn't that long ago, 2014, that you won your world title here in Portland. How special of a place is Portland for you, given that this is like where you took down your worlds?
It's really special because it's also where I took down my first national tour. So probably before that, my first national tour here, I don't think I knew much about Portland or being here, but I don't know, maybe it's the mountains and the big trees and the weather. And I remember, like the first year I won my national tour, just like looking up at the trees or looking over at the river and just being like, well, even if I'm not playing that great, it's just amazing to be here. But yeah, I mean, it brings back all the feelings. And yeah, I just hope that, yeah, I can have that success again soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Kat. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Kat.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
back at the Portland Open press conference with Ricky Wysocki. You got a birthday coming up, man. You got to be feeling pretty good this week.
Yeah. I always spend my birthday up here in the Northwest. Normally it's for the Beaver State Fling, but this week it's the Portland Open, so it's always nice to have a tradition and keep my birthday on this Northwest swing.
Well, happy early birthday. Just want to kind of hear your keys for attacking this brand new course that we've never seen before.
Yeah, it's a bomber. I mean, I think it reminds me a lot of OTB as far as the length and distance. I think it's even longer. It's all about the par fours. A lot of the par fours are just bomb drives and bomb rollers, and then throw an upshot into the green. But I think it's gonna be a lot about throwing. It's a throwers course this week. I think obviously you got to make putts too, but you got to throw 550, 600 feet just to get in position to have a high percentage second shot. So it's going to be a lot about controlling your distance, throwing rollers when you need to, and just giving yourself a chance off the tee.
How much is that going to stress your game? I mean, right now you're leading in parked percentage, circle one in regulation, and birdie percentage on the tour this year. So, but you said it's a throwers course, so it's maybe a little more of that off the tee skill needed.
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously you still have to putt good, even if it's a throwers course. But I've been throwing really well this year. I think that's something, big reason why I've been playing so well, and I'm definitely going to keep that going this week. And I've got 2 practice rounds out here, which I think is solid enough to where I know the course, I know the lines, I know the landing zones, I know the distances from all the different spots that I've been landing in practice. So I'm super comfortable that I can score well this week.
We're about halfway through the season. Obviously, a lot more events taking place than this time last year. How's the body holding up during the grind? We got a big one around the corner. I don't want to overlook this weekend, but
Yeah, no, I've definitely I'm doing ice baths. We're in the Northwest now, so I'm jumping in the river and refreshing after the rounds, which has been good for the body, especially throwing long drive after long drive out here at Glendoveer and the golf course that we're playing this week. And so I've been doing massages. I've been just keeping my health and wellness game plan going, and I haven't been injured. I know some people have been getting injured this year, and I feel like I'm just healthy, and that's as long as I'm healthy, I can do what I do best, and I'm super excited for this week.
Hey Rick, Chris with Gatekeeper. So last week at Masters Cup was your lowest finish of the year at 14th. It's still really good, by the way. What happened last week? How was your game feeling? Did something feel off, or?
Yeah, I mean, basically, last week it was, very uncharacteristic for me. It was just kind of like a week off mentally while still playing. So yeah, last week was just, I didn't have the fire, I didn't have the drive from the very start of the first round. I could kind of tell it was going to be that type of week, and it happens to everybody. It doesn't matter when you play a lot of tournaments. It's hard to wake up with the intensity every week in and week out. You're going to have weeks that you don't wake up and have that just killer instinct. So last week was just one of those weeks, and as an athlete, I know it's going to happen, and I just kind of move forward and look forward to this week. But I didn't play well, and I'm not too worried about it. I know my game, and I know that I'm capable to win tournaments still.
For sure. Kind of a random off topic a little bit because I overheard you. You were talking about getting new shoes for the pads. How important is shoes for disc golf? Could you just kind of go a little bit into that and what you use personally?
Yeah, I think it's good to switch shoes. I mean, I think different shoes for cement versus turf are important. And the shoes I'm wearing, I usually look like at De La were solid on the cement tees. But this week, I'm gonna have to try and get like a turf type of turf shoe. Better grip for these turf tee pads, especially if you're playing in the morning, which I don't think I am, but it can get dewy and slippery, and so if you have a little more traction with a different shoe, it can definitely help your plant. And I noticed in my practice runs I was slipping a little bit, and so I definitely have it can cost you strokes if you don't use the right shoes, and I definitely want to make sure that I got the right shoes for these tee pads, and so it's super important.
Awesome, thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to throw it to Mahmood for any questions.
Hey, Ricky. So this kind of long course tends to create a lot of Circle 2 putting opportunities for all the players. Obviously, you're one of the greatest Circle 2 putters of all time. Does that make you feel like extra excited going into this weekend?
Yeah, I do. I think that's a great point because some of these long par 4s and par 5s are tough to reach. Some of them just because of the distance, and so some of these shots you have to try to play for inside Circle 2 and maybe hit a long Circle 2 putt to gain a stroke and get that bonus stroke here and there on the course. And so I think that's going to be super important in getting separation on the field, because if there's some players that can't reach that that hole, and you happen to throw 2 good drives on maybe a par 4 and hit that circle 2 putt versus someone just getting a par, those strokes can add up throughout a long tournament, 3-round tournament that we got ahead. So even if you're just making 2 or 3 or 4, obviously I want to make as many as I can, but it's all a percentage game that and I feel like my percentages from circle 2 are pretty high, considering and comparing me to the field. So I think there's going to be a lot of bonus strokes to be had, and I'm hoping that I can capitalize on those.
Awesome. And just one more, speaking of circle 2 putting, you actually switched press conference spots with Adam Hammies, who's also one of the best circle 2 putters on tour. I've seen a lot of players kind of compare him to you in terms of like a player that he could potentially be down the line. What was it like watching him take down his first big win last weekend?
It was awesome. I've been playing. He spends a lot of time in Arizona, so we play a lot of practice rounds, and we spend a lot of time together. And I think I played Worlds. He played in the Worlds lead card. I think it was in Georgia in 2017. So he made a lead card appearance. So he's been around for a little while. He's a great player. He can play under the spotlight as he showed last week. He can handle the pressure, and he makes putts when it counts. So I mean, it just goes to show he's got a great putting stroke, and he can handle a lot of different situations mentally. And it's cool to see him firing on all cylinders. And as you said, he's a great putter, and I think that's where he makes his strokes up. And it's awesome to see him. And like you said, he kind of reminds me of a little mini version of myself when I was his age.
Yeah, he's got to come up with his own Raptor legs, though. Thanks, Ricky.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Thanks. Good luck this weekend, Rick.
Thanks, guys.
All right, back at the press conference for the Portland Open. Ella Hansen with us here. in your home state.
Yeah.
What's Oregon golf to you? Just general question.
I mean, this is what I know. I think just, beautiful courses, a lot of evergreens, and, some long holes, some short holes, but, just good people and a lot of fun.
Does this course at Glendoveer kind of match up? I mean, it's never been played before, totally new design. How does this kind of match up with how revered Oregon golf is?
Yeah, I mean, I've played a couple of other courses designed by Dustin on ball golf courses, and I've enjoyed all of them. So it's beautiful out here. It's a lot longer than most of the courses, and that I play around Eugene. There's not a whole lot of courses within an hour with par 4s even, or par 5s. So this is a bit different, but it's really fun. I like the length, and it's a beautiful place to be.
How do you feel that it kind of sets up for your game?
Pretty well. I'm excited to throw some more rollers out this weekend and just crush some shots. It's not just all long, rips though. There's some really technical greens and tough up shots, some tough drives. So I'm excited to be able to crush, but also be a little more technical and make sure I'm getting to the safe side of the green on some of those tougher holes.
And last one from me, we've seen your star rising very quickly here this season, and you've been invited to press conferences, you're getting a lot of clout. How has the grind been for you, kind of week in and week out, and like getting your tour legs under you against some of the veterans who have been doing this for a long time? Yeah, I mean, I think that I've had the advantage, I think I've said this before, of not really seeing these courses before, and I think this is a new one for everyone, obviously, same at like OTB Open, but I feel like I have a little bit of an advantage at a course like this because I've seen it just about as much as any of the other pros have, and I think just touring wise, making sure that I'm taking care of myself and not over practicing. A course like this, it's easy to kind of throw 5 shots per hole in 2 days in a row in practice and get pretty sore, so I've made sure today, I played a full round yesterday and played a few holes today, so I'm not really, I know the course well, but I'm not, blowing my arm out before the weekend.
Hi Ella, Chris with Gatekeeper. I have one question. Being new to the tour, what's the touring life been for you? I know we've been on the West Coast for a lot of it. We're getting ready, and I see you're going to be going to the East Coast. Mm-hmm. You have experience with that, and how does that look for you? Yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of Ultimate traveling, and you don't really play any hometown tournaments too often in Ultimate, so I'm pretty used to the traveling life and playing sports and trying to get ready for those events. I think it is a little different with disc golf because you can kind of practice the couple days beforehand, whereas in Ultimate it's like you're tapering for the tournament, so you don't really show up to a place and then want to practice at the fields or whatever. You just kind of take it easy. So I think that's one of the challenges, has been just learning the courses quickly without throwing my arm out. So I've done a lot of walking and driving courses, and I think that's been helpful, but I'm feeling pretty comfortable on the touring life and having fun doing it. Awesome. One other one, is there any specific molds you're looking to throw a lot out here this weekend? I throw a lot of DD3s. That's my max distance driver, and I will be throwing a bunch of them this weekend, and throwing rollers throwing rollers with an Enigma, pretty kind of flippy driver, so that's what I'll be laying down for more of the distance lines this weekend. Awesome, thank you.
Okay, to Mahmood.
Yeah, Ella, hi. I'm just wondering, did your finish at U.S. Women's kind of change your expectations going into these events? Like, do you feel like, well, I'm trying to chase a win now versus like chasing a top 5 or a top 3 or whatever? Yeah, I think, U.S. Women's, I kind of was hoping and expecting to finish in the top 5 or top 10, and so to get 3rd was really exciting, and it kind of gave me a sense of knowing that I could do that and that I can compete. And I think this weekend, I was actually telling Zoe Andyke that this weekend is kind of the first weekend where I feel like I really have the opportunity to play for the win. So I'm excited to do that, and hopefully I'll challenge some folks up there for the number 1 spot. Awesome. Yeah, that was kind of going to be my follow-up, is like, if there was a course that's set up for you, it's this one. How excited are you to throw some bombs out there and get to show off your game to the world?
I'm really excited. I think, I think really long courses suit my game really well. I was thinking, I think like on, at OTB Open, I think my birdie rate on like par 4s and 5s was probably way higher than on par 3s. Not that I did terrible on the par 3s, but I think that just kind of is how my game works out. And so having such a long course here, there's a couple of holes I think I have the potential to eagle, and definitely feel comfortable getting the birdie on most of the long ones.
Yeah, and sorry, one last thing. You're kind of newer to disc golf, this entire like scene, so you probably don't have the same like nostalgia for wooded courses like the rest of us. What's it like for you, kind of seeing this kind of discussion going on between the wooded courses and the ball golf courses out there in the community?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's kind of, it's a back and forth. I know that like ball golf courses from a video perspective and a spectator perspective is a little easier to shoot, and I know that, and it's easier to get spectators out here than it is, say, at like De La last weekend. It's a tough course to have galleries on and manage that. So I see the advantages, and I enjoy having the opportunity to play ball golf courses. And I think just like, I think having a good designer is really important, and just making sure it's not just going along a golf fairway the whole way and using the trees and other natural stuff on the property, ponds, whatever. So I think that, obviously we're trying to find, there's value in wooded courses, there's value in longer courses and ball golf courses that are more open, and I think that, people want to try to find a good middle ground, especially on the tour, of having some longer bombers and having some more technical shots, and having some courses that are kind of on the in-between.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, thank you so much, Ella. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
All right, back at the press conference here with Adam Hamis or Hammies? I listened to Simon yesterday.
Hamis.
Hamis,
Yep.
okay. I got to tell Simon he's wrong. First of all, congratulations last week. Incredible victory. Did you get to enjoy it at all?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's still, setting in. It's hard to, it's crazy to, look back and be already and be wow, you won that tournament. So, yeah, it's been a good week so far.
Well, you had to turn around really quickly in the same week, come out and practice this course, a very different course. First up, did you feel any different having that kind of energy behind it on a short week? Are you feeling different standing on the tee pad for practice rounds?
Maybe a little bit different. It's just another event. You have to, prepare the same you did for the last one. Not a whole lot. I'm a little tired. My shots aren't getting quite the pop I need right now, but I think I should be perfectly ready for tomorrow.
Well, certainly if you keep putting like you have, I wrote down here some Circle 2 stats for you. You're tied for second on tour in Circle 2 putts. You're making 1 out of every 3 that you'll look at. You're tied with Eagle and tied with Macbeth and better than Ricky. So when I say all those names, and Adam Hamis is right there in the Circle 2 category, how does that make you feel?
It feels good. I work pretty hard from Circle 2. I'm not putting the disc necessarily in the circle on every single tee shot. So my Circle 1 and regulation, Circle 2 and regulations are a little bit down. So I have to make those bigger putts, to stay at the top. So I work on my Circle 2 putt a lot.
And last one for me. This is a bomber course this week. Big arm required. Given what you just said, how are you going to kind of plan to attack it?
Just try to throw smooth 500-foot plus, nuke shots off the tee, and then, scramble from there and try to, get hopefully into Circle 1, Circle 2. If I can stay in those, I can go make some putts this week.
Hey, Adam, Chris with Gatekeeper. Congratulations last week.
Thank you.
Other than really the Texas stint, you've been putting up some really good placements this year, kind of low-key. You've been on our coverage on Chase Card a lot, so you've been getting a lot of top 10s. How do you feel about your game this year? You seem to be up at the top a lot.
The last 5 tournaments have been great. I've got top 10 in every single one. That's right where I want to be. If I'm outside the top 10, I think it was a bad week for me. So, just trying to stay consistent out there, just trying to stay level-headed. That's been a really big thing for me lately, and it's been, showing the results. And pretty happy to stay in top 10.
Sweet. Now, there's 2 parts of your game you're very well known for, your forehand and your Circle 2 putting. Mm-hmm. Which one do you think you're better at? Which one's more important to you?
Forehand's pretty good right now. My Circle 2 putting, though, is the best putt of my game, for sure. It's what I rely on the most, so definitely working on that.
Awesome. Any hole out here that's really catching your eye? This is a beautiful venue. Anything stand out to you?
I think the best hole out here is hole 17. You got to hit a gap, and then you got to push straight for a little bit, and then fade at the end. And then miss a couple trees. I think it's one of the more technical shots out here. A lot of the holes aren't very technical, so I like the technicality of hole 17.
Awesome. Seems like you're getting hot at a good time, and good luck this week.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're going to kick it to Mahmood for any questions.
Hey, Adam, I noticed you're wearing the Resistance Discs shirt. How much are you looking forward to that tournament next weekend? I know it's one of your big sponsors.
Yeah, I'm super hyped for the Resistance Disc Open next week. The tournament's coming together really well. Jeff's been working really hard. Jeff and Scott Withers have been working really hard to get everything going. Everything's going pretty smooth. The course, Jeff was out there yesterday. It's looking real nice. So I'm pretty excited for that event. It's going to be a good week.
And one more question. What's it like coming from De La, which is could not be more opposite of this course? Yeah. What's kind of your mindset going from winning there to now you're playing here?
It's almost a completely different bag. De La was a lot of mids, a lot of tempo down fairway drivers, and a lot of Hyzer flip putters, and just a bunch of weird shots you see at De La, and then you come out here and I don't think I'll be throwing a buzz all week. So a lot of nukes, a lot of drivers, just switch it up and just GBO vibes, just bring it back to that, and hopefully another top 10.
Yeah, and one last thing. I don't know if you've been told this yet, but it looks like Drew is probably not going to be playing, and you would be the fill-in on the feature card for him. What's that? Are you excited to be on a live feature card?
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime I can get on a live feature card is great. That's where the highest the views are going to be and stuff like that. So yeah, excited to play on the feature card.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam.
Yep. Thank you.
One bonus here. One bonus here is we've talked a lot about you kind of in the last couple weeks here in the media. And it's always gone back to 2017 when you popped up at Worlds in Georgia. And I think, some of the fans may say, oh, Adam Hammes, we're going to put him in the same group as a Kyle Klein, a Gannon Burr, Gavin Rathbun. But you've been playing a few more years and been kind of getting up there. I'm just wondering how you see yourself. Are you still a young gun in your mind? Are you a tour veteran? Have you proven it? How do you view yourself?
I feel like I'm established on the tour at this point. I think I have a couple years on Kyle and Gavin, full years on the road, maybe only one extra. So I have a little more experience at some of these courses, and I'm a little more confident, just coming in, I know what to expect a little bit more from tournament to tournament. So not too far ahead of those guys, but maybe a little bit.
And what was the point at which you kind of shifted that mentality? Can you look back at a particular tournament or finish or anything like that, and you're like, all right, I've earned at least my first stripe?
I don't know if I would say a specific tournament. I would just say maybe that, like I said, experience, having an extra year on the road, just understanding the road life and stuff like that, because that stuff is can be stressful and can take a toll on someone for their first year. So just knowing what goes into a full year of touring and what you have to do to succeed is very beneficial.
Awesome. Well, hey, good luck with this week, and use that experience for good.
Thank you. Good. Sweet.
All right, we've got a treat. We have a real live European disc golfer here in the States, Albert Tom. Tell us how you're feeling. How did you get here? We're excited to see you.
It's super excited to be back after, 1.5 year break. I spent 14 days in Mexico outside of Schengen area, and that's kind of like the way to get here right now for like when you live in Schengen area. So yeah, yesterday midnight I arrived at Portland, and I'm excited to be here.
Talk to me about the last year and a half. Of course, what a tough thing it was to not be able to get together and compete at the highest level, to have the European majors canceled. What has life been like for you?
It's been tough. Like at the first part it was good. I could finish off my college studies. It was good. I could take my time. But after a little bit you can feel like you're doing the work and everything, but you cannot see the outcome anywhere. So it's kind of been tough, but that's why I'm here now.
What's the biggest motivation during that time, during those tough times?
Just after every low tide there's an uprising, so like an American mountain. So
there you go. And how about this event? You've seen the course now. I saw you just got off the practice round. Break it down. How do you like it? Does it suit your game well?
Oh, it's super long course. It's I think it suits my game very well. It seems it can be quite windy, but I'm really looking forward to it, being on the golf courses again and smashing shots, and excited for the weekend.
Hey Albert, Chris with Gatekeeper. Good to see you. It's been a while. What part of your game do you think you've improved the most over the past year and a half, going back to Europe, playing a lot of those courses in Estonia?
I think I improved my backhand game and also the sidearm. I feel I have more power with the sidearm now, and also my backhand shots are more consistent with angles and everything.
Awesome. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you are the only European that will be competing in Worlds in about a month, correct?
No, there will be a couple of Estonians coming also. Kristin and Silver are currently staying in Croatia for the same thing I did in Mexico. So for the Worlds, they will be here also.
Oh, that's good to hear. How does that feel, only being one of few that are competing for the World Championship from Europe? Do you feel like you have a lot of weight on your shoulders for the continent as a whole?
Nah, I'm just super excited to, the plan worked out. I'm here. That's everything else is just a bonus for me.
Well, we're excited to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I've got one bonus question for you. You've had a lot of time to think about this. Do you have another celebration up your sleeve, or are you sticking with the tried and true?
There might be maybe some not new but upgraded versions.
All right, we'll look to see it. We're gonna look for a long putt.
We'll see.
All right, best of luck this weekend, Albert. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks, Albert.
All right, welcome back. We're with the one and only Juliana Korver. I just got to start off the top. You've had 3 starts this year on tour. You finished all of them in the top 10. You are the envy of everybody who thought about it, maybe decided to not tour, or maybe retired too soon. That's got to be awesome.
Yeah, it's a surprise to me. This is nothing that I planned. Quite frankly, I lost my job 6 weeks ago, and it gave me this opportunity. I knew I was going to play Women's Nationals, but then it's just grown, and I've had so much fun that I'm putting off a job search, and I'm going to stay on tour for a while.
Well, the sport's definitely better for that. I mean, we talked before the OTB Open, and we talked about the length of that course, obviously some similarities out here, and you told me it's all just playing golf, and that's the most important thing. How has that mentality kind of helped you compete against these amazing women this now in FPO?
So I didn't have a lot of expectations going into this. I was curious. I didn't really expect to be able to be at the top. Now I think maybe I can be. However, this course is a little bit different than OTB. So at OTB there was still a lot of shot shaping, there was still a lot of danger, water, trees. There's not as much of that at this course. So I do think that this course is going to favor a long thrower more than the OTB course did. So I don't know. I felt like I would be able to hold my own at OTB, wherever that equilibrium happened to be. I didn't know. I'm not as sure on this course.
You know, despite that, and obviously there'll be more tournaments throughout the year, do your expectations continue to rise? As you said, you know, you're starting to think like, hey, I'm still got it.
Well, you know, I need to be careful with that because I've gone through this before. You know, it's fun on the uphill, but boy, it really doesn't. It's not very fun on the downhill. You know, I don't really. No, I do have a goal. I do have a goal, and I'm willing to say it. I would love to make it into the Tour Championships at the end of the year. So that's what I'm working towards. And I have signed up for all the remaining DGPT events. I'm still on the wait list on a couple, so I don't think I'm probably going to be able to get 8. I think that's the number that's counted, so it might be a little bit difficult, but that's what I'm really working towards.
And last question for me, you know, you said you've seen the uphill and the downhill before, in terms of having a whole career in front of you. You know, how does that help you kind of manage it when a shot doesn't go your way nowadays versus, you know, back in, let's say, the 1.0 version of the JK career?
Well, I was always really good at forgetting the bad, you know, and I completely understood that it's exceptionally rare to be happy with every shot that you throw during a round. I've done it twice. But let's see, I lost my train of thought. So I'm not looking at it the same way this time around. You know, this is not my career. This is like for fun. This is take a break. You've worked hard for the last 12 years. Go have a little bit of fun. See where it takes you. And so hopefully I'm not putting the same amount of pressure on myself that I did back then. I don't know if I'm capable of not putting a lot of pressure on myself. I hope so.
Hi, Juliana. Chris with Gatekeeper. Just a couple questions. We love seeing you out there slinging end of a disc. I just want you to maybe go into some detail, some of the molds you're throwing.
Sure. Well, last weekend, because of angles being very important, I threw the Roadrunner a lot because I can keep that very, very flat and try to limit the skips and such. Out here, I'll throw some more star turns. I'll throw some Shrikes. On rare occasion, I'll throw a Destroyer. I absolutely love the Mako and the Atlas. Super, super straight disc. The Atlas, great disc. Shouldn't be a surprise that I putt with AVRX. And I have a beautiful red AVR that's been in, well, it's been near my bag at least for over 20 years. So that thing is very, very beat in and pretty much usually does what I ask it to.
Awesome. Now, recently, the news to me of the entire Pro Tour, but I know you announced that you'd be at Pro Worlds as well. Are you doing that for fun, or do you think you could take down a 6-time? And do you think we'll see a 6-time with 3 of you being there, 5-time champions?
I think the chances are good that there will be a 6-time coming out of Utah. Do I think it's going to be me? No. Do I want it to be me? Sure. No, that's completely unrealistic. I've been sitting behind a desk for 12 years, and I'm 50 years old. So to expect me to beat Paige at the prime of her life, she's been training for this for her entire life, unrealistic. Could it happen? I guess. Will it happen? Probably not. Am I going to try to make it happen? Of course.
Do you have any advice to anyone out there who might feel like they're good enough to tour and are kind of scared to maybe leave their job. Do you just have any advice being out touring so long in your life for someone who might be starting?
This is the second time around for me, and I gotta say this time's a lot easier. Well, one, sponsorships are bigger, prize money is bigger, but more than that, not just the money, the community that is touring is so much larger, and the support that you get from your peers and the help along the way emotionally, and also, you know, places to stay and where to eat and let's caravan together and all of that, it makes a big difference, and it makes it a lot easier. So, you know, it doesn't have to be a career. It can be a summer. It can be a month. It can be whatever you want it to be. But if you have that itch, you should probably give it a try.
Thank you so much.
One kind of just follow-up answer, you know, we've talked for the last few minutes about the two kind of phases and how you're treating this differently. What's the most fun thing for you about disc golf now, and is it different than it was then?
I honestly don't remember what was the most fun 20 years ago. You know, it was all such a surprise to me 20 years ago, to find myself on top of a sport. You know, came from a tiny little town, and you know, I was good at everything, but it was a tiny town. So I didn't have a lot of people that I was competing against. So to come out in, you know, world, you know, back then it was mostly North America, but it was still a valid world title. I was just continually grateful and amazed that such opportunities presented themselves to me. And now, I am again grateful that I'm still young enough that I can come out and play on the tour now that it has grown in such size, and it's, you know, it's legitimate now. It's really legitimate, and it feels like it. And I love the fact that I can experience it by being part of it instead of just sitting at home, and that I can play next to these girls who amaze me with every shot.
Well, I know there's a lot of mutual admiration on the course, so enjoy it this weekend, and of course we're glad to have you out here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, back with Eagle McMahon. Eagle, you got 2 Pro Tour wins this season, and it came at an earlier time than it did the previous year. Obviously, all hard fought. We're at about the halfway point, so that's a pretty good stat. How you feeling so far about kind of the first half of the year?
Yeah, I mean, if we were to end the year right now, you know, I'm not going to say I would be content, but you know, it wouldn't be the worst year ever. So, you know, I'm very happy to have 2 Pro Tour wins, and you know, every other event I finished in the top 10. So, you know, halfway through the season, you know, I'm pretty content with the stats I have so far.
And you know, that halfway through the season doesn't yet include any Oregon events. I know the love you have for playing disc golf in this part of the country. So, you know, just talk a little bit about that, and does this course that we're playing this weekend kind of match up to that vibe that I know you love so much?
Yeah, Oregon is a really special place to me because it's the first place that I flew out and spent time with Team Discmania back in 2015. I came out for the for the Beaver State Fling, and Milo is just such an iconic course that was basically my #1 bucket list course, and to get that off the list, my first year on tour was really special, and to spend a week with Avery Jenkins and Simon Lizotte, so I have very fond memories of this place, and a lot of courses may not live up to expectations, and a lot of places may not live up to the expectations you put on them, but Oregon always delivers. These massive trees, these monolithic mountains. It's just a really cool place to play, and just the quality of disc golf. It's beautiful. It's the whole package up here.
Your last 3 starts, you're 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, respectively. This is a really good trend at a really good time of year. What's clicking for you?
I think it's a little bit the type of course we're playing, but I've also dialed in some of the discs in my bag. A lot of the courses right now we're playing are just really, really far. So I have my long range roller, my long range sidearm. Pretty much every shot you need to kind of attack these more open style courses. So I think that that helps a lot. And pretty much the only thing that holds me back is whether my putting's on or not. And even when it's off, it still feels decent enough to be able to compete. So long drives and make putts.
All right, last question for me is, as you've had time to practice this course a couple times now, which of those shots are you really going to rely on this weekend?
So they said that the previous Disc Golf Pro Tour course, Swenson, back in Stockton, was a roller course. This one's even more so. I think I probably throw roller off maybe 12 of the tees out here. So I'm just trying to chew up as much distance as I can. Stay away from out of bounds, which there isn't a whole lot of it. At least off the tee out here. So it's really just about getting myself in position, and I really like the length of the course for my game. Hopefully my body holds up. But if my body holds up, I think I'll be doing all right.
Awesome. Eagle, Chris with Gatekeeper, a couple questions. To go off of that, you had the hot round on our coverage, round 1, which set the course record. Do you feel like a lot of your molds and shots are going to be used here?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much my go-to disc is the DD3/Cloudbreaker, and I feel like that's the disc I'm going to be heavily relying on out here. Once I get down the fairway, a lot of the times you throw a DD3 or a Cloudbreaker as far as you can, and then the second shot you're doing the same thing. So having a lot of familiarity with those molds, I think, is going to be beneficial out here.
Awesome. So you finish up your final practice round. Take us through kind of your night and your morning leading up to your first round.
Yeah, tonight, I'm hopefully going to go get some good food, swim in a river, get some cold therapy going. But also maybe just doing a little bit of a relaxation, make sure I get some electrolytes in, just kind of, do all the cliche post-tournament recoveries so I can, be feeling good tomorrow, because today was a 4-hour practice round, and that's quite draining. So, I'm going to do my best to, get a good night's sleep and, get my body feeling good for tomorrow.
Awesome. Last question. Is there any hole here that stands out? Because this is a very beautiful course.
I'm excited to be on coverage for some of the par 5 shots, because I feel like I can maybe get some looks at them that maybe other players can't. So I'm excited to hopefully get some of those rollers around the 700-foot mark this weekend.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're going to kick it to Mahmood for a question.
Hey, Eagle. The Pro Tour has played on 2 ball golf courses this season, with Vegas and with Swenson. You obviously won both of those. How excited / confident are you going into this weekend?
I think most people could probably assume that I'm going to be excited to play out here. A lot of people think that a golf course is my favorite type of golf, and it really isn't. I definitely like finishing well at events, so I'll play on golf courses all day. But it feels a little unfair to a lot of the other players out here. I just remember going back to Swenson, I played with some players the first round that they are not really able to attack or utilize their game, and I'd like to see in the future a better combination of shots. Like, this property is absolutely incredible. I'd love to come back, and I know there was a lot of factors, but I feel like if you chopped
maybe 1,500 feet off this course and put a little bit more out of bounds. It's a course that, a lot more people are going to be able to compete at. But that being said, I'm able to throw long range rollers, distance shots, and, I'm going to hopefully take advantage of it.
Awesome. Thank you, Eagle Man. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Thanks. Good luck this weekend.
All right. Later, everybody.
Thanks.
All right, last but certainly not least at our press conference, Kona Panis here with us. Off the top, I just want to rattle off some stats and kind of get your reaction. I was looking you up on good old UDisc. In 2020, you played 13 events in the whole season. This is going to be your 13th start this season.
Wow.
Last season, you had one top 5 finish. This year, halfway through, same number of starts, 6 top 5s, and you've only missed the top 10 one time. What are you doing right?
To be completely honest, I've messed with my form during the off season, and it just feels like it's clicking. The timing's right, the power is right, and to start the season, I had that new Annie putt, and it just gained me a lot of confidence on the putting green. And right now, it's a little off, so I'm actually switching between my straddle and my Annie. But no, my upshots are feeling clean. I just feel like I'm hitting my lines a lot more, and I'm not going out of bounds a lot, and I'm understanding my disc selection and my disc control.
Is that something that kind of happened? There's a whole lot of things that have improved, and that's great. Is that something that kind of happens in the off season purely on the practice green, or does it kind of take some time in the season to really, bake it in?
I think it's both. I don't really consider that we had an off season because I felt like we were just playing throughout the whole entire thing. I think a lot of people took some time off, maybe had some vacations, and I felt like we were still constantly working and doing like form checks and stuff. But to be completely honest, I think it was like the All-Star weekend that got me started, and knowing I could do it, knowing I could take down 5-time world champ and do all that stuff. So I think it was confidence in competition as well.
And, well, you're talking about not having an off season, and of course, this year has just been chock full of events. I mean, it's been week in and week out. How are you doing? How are you adjusting to that, having to compete your heart out in an event and turn around and practice a couple days later and give it all you got once again?
It's been tough. I'm gonna say, first off that it's been amazing having Seth with Disc Golf Strong here. Without him, I don't know if I'd be doing this, to be completely honest, because it's a wear and tear on your body doing this day in, day out. We probably get like 2 days of just rest, and then it's just back to practicing. And Colton and I like practicing our courses a lot because we think 2 to 3 rounds is enough to actually get us to the point where we feel confident during competition. But yeah, I'll be taking an off season this year and taking some time to actually rest my body, and because we didn't get a lot of off weeks this year. It's been DGPT, National Tour, Major, there's not a lot of B and A and C tiers. It's all the big ones, and we want to do well at all of those. So at the end of the season, Disc Golf Pro Tour finale, I want to be placed well before that event.
Hi, Kona. Chris with Gatekeeper. A couple questions.
Yeah.
Going off of that and just having so many events, how important is it for your mental health, and what do you do during your free time, hobby-wise, to kind of take a step back from disc golf and really focus on something else?
Yeah, so mental health, especially with May being Mental Health Awareness Month and everything, we saw a lot of people talk about that. But for me, myself, it's getting off my phone, getting away from all the negativity. I've been getting a lot of it recently just because I'm so open on my social media. But you know, Colton and I, we go on bike rides. I love being outdoors. I've actually started doing a lot of bird watching. I'm kind of a nerd. And just spending time with one another, and we actually, we play some video games in the van. So just taking time off from actually playing disc golf and being so focused on watching disc golf and doing all that and actually doing stuff for ourselves.
Awesome. One last question. A lot of debate over wooded courses, venues, golf courses. We just get a little bit more of your opinion on how you feel that fits into the pros game?
Yeah, so this is an interesting question because there was a lot going on with U.S. Women's. We played on some shorter courses, maybe, you know, more technical, but they weren't up to not up to standards. I have nothing against the courses. They're great courses as well. They have a lot of history, but they weren't, you know, major quality of what we need for like this kind of talent that we have nowadays. But with that being said, I don't know if we should be playing something as long, 11,000 feet, like, where are we right now? Glendoveer. Just because we're throwing these giant shots, and to be completely honest, it takes a toll on the body, and doing it day in, day out, it gets too much. So I think being able to, you know, play something like this, maybe a little bit shorter, and then be able to go to like a wooded course, or somehow mix both of them. Obviously it's tough to get, you know, venues as beautiful as this one, especially able to close them down, but we're working in the right direction.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you feel like maybe change of touring of the courses and kind of mixing them around, so we start at Vegas and then go to a little bit more wooded, like Waco, and kind of fill that out a little bit more? You think we'll find a good happy medium?
I do, because we're not just playing the same thing every weekend, and then I also think our spectators and our viewers back home would like to see, like, oh, you know, Haley King, she can crush, you know, Glendoveer, but then she can go to a course like Hall of Fame Classic or what's it called, IDGC, and like throw those wooded shots and hit those gaps. So just to show how challenging or show that each individual can do both the open and both the wooded.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Best of luck this week. Thanks, Kona.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, we know everybody wanted an encore, so we brought Zoe Andyke in for one more chat before we get Glendevere kicked off here at the Portland Open. First of all, I just want to say Oregon represent, Oregon golf.
Oh, yeah.
How excited are you?
I am so pumped. We really deserve to have an elite event here in Oregon. It's one of the golf meccas, so happy to have everything going on.
And talk a little bit about this course. Your perspective on kind of all of this coming together, this property, the challenge ahead, whatever comes to mind.
Well, first of all, huge shout out to the Pro Tour. Jeff Spring really wanting to keep the Portland Open going was a pretty special deal. It was unfortunate that we couldn't have it at Blue Lake. We all tried really hard, but I'm so excited that he called on Dustin. Dustin Keegan's he took training last year on course design. He's designed a lot of different school courses, private courses, and now has his name on a few, and this is kind of a big debut for him. I think it's also really an awesome opportunity because he plays at that level. He plays MPO, and he can throw, maybe not 700 feet, but he's boys throwing farther every day. He can throw almost every shot shape and angle control. He's got it, and to have that kind of experience and the fact that he trains and works out with me, being able to think about the FPO field, I'm just pretty stoked that all these things came together, and then how quickly it all turned around. It's pretty awesome.
Talk about the FPO layout here at Glendevere. Kind of across the board, we've heard that it's a big course, going to require, placement, but also requires some distance. Do you find that to be true?
Absolutely. There's definitely a few tweaks from Dustin's original design, making some of the holes a little bit longer, but all in all, I think every single competitor out here can certainly par and get birdie opportunities. What it's going to take, though, is being on top of your game and knowing the course. Actually, I don't know how well everybody did their homework, but you've got to know your landing zones, and you've got to know what side of the fairway to be on if you want to score well. So I think the FPO layout is actually cooler than the MPO layout. I mean, some of our tee pad views and some of our shots, I just think are incredible. So pretty stoked about the course.
Hi Zoe, Chris with Gatekeeper. I just have one question. For the viewers back home who might not be aware, could you just go into You Play Disc Golf a little bit and what that whole thing is
certainly.
about?
Yeah, You Play is a nonprofit that we started in 2017. We incorporated, and so we're coming up on 4 years. The whole entire mission statement is to enhance communities with disc golf education and programs. So primarily, before the pandemic, we were focused on schools, and whether it be kindergarten all the way up through college-age students, we're putting disc golf curriculum into schools. The pandemic brought challenges, but it also brought amazing growth. And right now we're just bouncing back and trying to get into schools. Certainly weren't able to in California or here in Oregon with our community connection partnership with the Pro Tour, but we are looking forward to bring it back in the fall. And we've got a few camps and a few educators training going on this summer, so really stoked about it. And honestly, I just feel like anytime You Play gets involved or is able to insert anything that we're doing, whoever is receiving that is their lives are better. Disc golf is so accessible and it doesn't discriminate, and everybody can do it. So
awesome.
Good thing.
Yeah,
Thank
You Play is an
for
amazing organization, so thank you.
Thanks for asking.
All right. Thanks, Zoe. Appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank you guys.